Franklin lives with Iron in a country house. He is very concerned about Iran's health, but she asks not to think about it. It's much better to look at the stars. The couple goes to their shed, where there is a hidden hatch leading into a small tunnel called to the stars. In the far part of the tunnel, there is a certain room. It takes them to a completely different planet, firm where a beautiful view opens. Franklin suspects that something is wrong with the cheese. She wants to come here more and more often. Personally, he was already tired of coming here. They had been here 856 times, and nothing had happened. Iran points to the door, but Franklin is categorically against going behind it. When he let the mice in there, they died within 1 minute. They don't have time to wait for something new, because they are getting old. You need to tell someone their secret so that other people will come here. Iran is sure that there is some reason why they found this place. It remains to solve this riddle. When they returned to their home, they did not notice how their neighbor Byron was watching them. A new day is coming. Franklin saw Byron start cutting their grass. He didn't like it very much, as this is an invasion of private property. If he wanted to cut the grass, he would have done it himself, but now his machine is broken. Byron returns home and tells his wife Johnny that Franklin is lying to him, since the area around the barn is clean. He is sure that their neighbors are hiding something there. Johnny doesn't even know how to answer that. Iran visits Dr. Sandra. She finds it very strange that after the usual decline in Iran's health has deteriorated so much. Suddenly there is something in her life that contributes to this syndrome. A portal flies in front of her eyes, but she still says no. Their granddaughter Dennis came to town today. All because of Byron, who found her on Facebook and wrote that Franklin was driving Iran in a wheelchair in the middle of the night, and she would like them to move to another house. Franklin can't tell the truth and only asks Dennis not to worry about them. Late in the evening, Franklin returned home and realized that he had forgotten to pick up Iran, which is why he was going back. On the way home, the car stalled because he forgot to fill up the gas. While they are not at home, Byron decided to break into the barn, but he does not find anything strange and leaves. Over dinner, Irene asks Franklin to sell the house and move on after she dies. Franklin doesn't want her to think about death in principle until they are at least 100 years old. When he fell asleep, Iran writes a farewell letter and is about to leave the door, but she is called by a man asking for help. With this news, she runs to Franklin. He calls the policeman Thomas, but Iran's persuasion not to give up the stranger forces him to pretend that the man ran away to the north. At the same time, Tony lives in Argentina. She tells Ostel's mother that she is going to bed, but in fact, the secret escapes to a classmate. She tries to kiss him, but the guy says he didn't come here for her, but just arguing with friends. There are rumors that her grandfather was in a sect, and now evil spirits will quit here. Ostel appears, chasing the stranger away, as there is also a secret passage leading to the teleport in their church. She checks to see if a certain device has disappeared, and then leaves. Ira considers things as a guest. Inside the bag was a piece of metal and ancient coins. The stranger gets sick. The same thing happened with Cheese. Then the doctor said that she got sick with a virus and prescribed medications, but the pills ran out. Franklin went to the store and forgot why he was coming here. But he guessed to put the package in his pocket. The guy got better, and he calls his name Jude. The last thing he remembers is walking somewhere in the mountains, and it was very cold, and then he fell somewhere. Franklin assumes that Jude is an undercover alien, otherwise how could he have appeared in their room? This means that he somehow walked on the surface of the planet and did not die, which is simply impossible. They need to take care of Iron, not him. Iron is sure that it is the appearance of Jude that they have been waiting for all this time. We need to find out where all this will lead them. Late at night, Jude goes to the bathroom and pulls out a glowing device from his leg, smashing it. After hiding all the evidence, he leaves the house. And in Argentina, Tony says that she doesn't like living in the wilderness, which is why she doesn't have friends. Ostel reminds that their whole family has been living there for a huge number of years because of the promise to fulfill a great goal. They've always been keepers of something, but what that means, Tony can't know yet. She thinks her mother is crazy, when suddenly a notification arrives on the phone that someone has entered the tunnel. They immediately return to the farm. Ostel looks around the house with a gun at the ready and finds Cornelis saying something in Latin. He gives her a special task to find the son of their acquaintance. Estelle must go with Tony, otherwise he will take her for himself. Already at home, Tony asks what is the artist that they need to find. Estelle replies that it has to do with life in their community. They go down into the tunnel. Estelle takes out a piece of metal, exactly the same as Jute's, and applies it to the device. The control scheme is activated. You can use it to select the destination path. Their family is special, not like other people. The couple enters the room and is transported to New York. A man, Nick, who was in their group, was already waiting for them on the other side. A new day is coming. Franklin goes into a pawn shop to find out how much these coins are worth. These are Spanish doubloons. Usually he can tell where they were minted, but not now. When the couple decided to check on Jude, he was already sitting in his room. At home, the lamps fail every now and then, which seems very strange to me. And while Jude was taking a bath, she looks around his room, finding some kind of device. Franklin does not trust Jude, which is why he gives him money and things, asking him to leave. "You're a good crook, you played well." Jude says he's not a bad person and he doesn't need their money. And if he has to leave, then let Franklin tell Irene thank you. After considering his actions, Franklin calls out to Jude while Irene opens the jar and puts the ball on the table. A second later, the table evaporates, and she immediately pushes the ball back into the jar. Franklin gives Jude a chance to prove that Irene did not believe in him for nothing and allowed him to return home. For Dennis, they call him Assistant Irene.
Now you don't have to worry about us.
Jude sees how Dennis is worried about his relatives and suggests that she come at any time. Franklin went into the bathroom and found a bloody knife. In an attempt to wash his hands, he turns on the water, and from the pipe, rose into the wreckage of the capsule. He tries to examine them, but the water sucks the capsules back into the pipe. Byron once again enters the barn, and this time, finds a secret hatch and the entrance to the portal. In the morning, Jude takes the jar and buries it nearby in the woods. Byron bumps into him. He asks him if Franklin goes out with Irene at night in the barn. Jude doesn't answer and leaves. Franklin takes the mug Jude touched and takes it to Thomas, asking him to check his fingerprints, as he saw something strange in the bathroom. Thomas does not take his words seriously, believing that Franklin is a little crazy. "I'm not out of my mind. If we are killed in our sleep, it will be your fault." At this time, Jude and Irene came to the library. There was an article about Jude's father. He was arrested by the police, and he also had amnesia. Nick takes the couple to his hangar, where his laboratory is located. Estelle gives the card given by Cornelius. The computer scans the data and outputs the coordinates of the artifact. The zone is very large, but it's better than nothing. In the nursing home, Chandra is fired because she stole things from the guests. She arrives Kieran and offers her help, but she is informed that they have already hired Jude. The craving for kleptomaniac has not gone away, and she stole the remote control from the house. In the evening, they got a call from Dale from the pawn shop. Someone wants to buy coins. Jude calls the number of the person who wanted to buy them. He doesn't care if they are stolen. He wants to at least look at them, after which he says a few words in Latin. Exactly the same words were spoken by Cornelius. Jude runs to his things and notices the loss of the remote. He immediately realizes that this Chandra stole it and goes in search of her, but he does not have a phone, and he comes to the bar to call. Dennis notices him there, and they have fun together. Iron realizes that Franklin and Jude have not returned yet, and leaves in search of them. Franklin and Byron are gradually reconciling. He even offers to show that he is in the basement, but for some reason, the teleporter does not work. Byron takes it all as a joke and leaves. The policeman notices Jude and wants to ask what he is doing here. A chase begins. It awakens the memory where Jude was also tried to catch, but he eliminated the attacker. It was his blood that was on the clothes. The policeman arrested Jude and took him to the police station. Jude asks Irene to help him get out of here, as he really needs to find Gabriel. Irene is ready to help, but only if she tells the truth. Jude replies that they control absolutely everything we eat and when we sleep, even what I think about. Anyone who found out too much was caught and transferred to the complex. Irene has learned the same secret. There are a lot of such portals, but it is unknown who built them. Irene thinks too narrowly. The portals lead not only to that planet. They are all connected to each other, and if he is found, he will be killed immediately. After a while, they leave the station and return home. Jude tells Irene that Chandra stole the pult. Irene asks to postpone this matter until tomorrow. Nick reaches the communications tower. Thanks to it, he can narrow down the search area to an entire city. After another examination, the doctor reports that Irene's health is beginning to improve. And Franklin came up with an idea of how to prove that the portal really worked. There are photos on his camera that Byron can develop. He again believes that they want to prank him, but he is ready to check the photos. Irene comes to visit Chandler and distracts her so that Jude can get into the house through the back entrance and find the remote control. However, he did not even suspect that he would see the capsule. He reveals himself and asks who sent her. This is a beacon capsule. Irene promises not to report the theft to the police if she tells him where she got this pendant. It turns out it belonged to Jude's father. And on the way home, Jude asks Irene to teach him how to drive a car. And since it's deserted here now, Irene agrees. Byron printed out the photos and can't believe that Franklin is a Neuralum. Attempts to find out what kind of place it is are only displayed on Reptilians, and a site about impossible doors under another name. Spiritual Door, which is very similar to the doors from the basement. With this news, he goes to Franklin. The photographs date back to 1723rd year. After examining the basement, they notice blood. There was no ball inside the compartment, it was Jude who stole it. Byron remembers that he saw Jude in the woods, and after checking the territory, he finds a buried jar. He takes it to Franklin with a proposal to return the ball to its place. Franklin is not up to it now, and then Byron asks permission to go to the basement alone. Franklin gives the go-ahead. Byron brings the ball slightly closer to the device, and it is attracted to it by itself. Officer Thomas was informed that Jude had been released. He immediately remembers Franklin's request and takes out a glass. He quickly finds evidence that he used to be mentally ill. The officer would like to take him into custody until he finds out everything. Irene pretends that she has already fired him and he has left town. A little later, she shows Jude the document. He swears it's a complete lie. It was arranged by the people he was talking about. You have to believe me. At this time, Ostel tells Tony that they are not looking for an object from a person, but he used to be one of them, but broke the rules. If he is not found, many people will be in danger. Late in the evening, the man called Franklin. He still wants to look at his doubloons. Franklin replies that the doubloon is not his, so he doesn't need to call him anymore. The man is surprised and asks about whose they are. But Byron had already come to Franklin, who figured out that when the ball was taken out, the charge in the portal instantly disappeared. He decided that it was necessary to apply the maximum possible energy and close the network. Franklin plugs the device into an outlet, and a small explosion occurs, knocking out the animals. The sensors in Ostel's car notice this. Franklin, along with Byron, stands in the center and is transported to another planet. He is amazed that it is so beautiful here and wonders if he went out the door. Franklin answers no. He was always afraid, but now he's not afraid. 10 years ago, he assembled spacesuits just for such a case, though he did not finish it. Byron does not see anything terrible in this. He used to work in the production of vitamins, and in general, he is handy. Together, they will definitely be able to improve the spacesuit. Thanks to the photo, Jude was able to find Hannah, who knew his father. She says that he once went somewhere, so she can't help them. Hannah goes into another room and activates the hidden room. There is a man sitting in it who called about the coins. Cameras and wiretaps are installed in all rooms. With the help of them, they want to find out the true reason why they came to them. Hannah takes Jude to the room where his father lived. When she left, he looked through the books and found a book strewn with calculations and strange symbols. Jude takes the book for himself and, upon returning home, begins to study the symbols, comparing them with the remote control. In a local group, Tony finds a video from a bar that shows Jude. Saintel immediately goes there to find out where he can be found. Then he forgot Chandra's business card with them, and the woman gives it back. Chandra is ready to tell them everything they need, but only after payment. Everyone arrives at the meeting place, and Cornelius throws doubloons. Chandra wanted cash, not these coins, forcing Cornelius to use force. When Chandra said everything she knew, he eliminated her and took the coins back. Byron upgraded his suit and went to the surface of the planet. He walks in front of the room and sees someone's furniture. He wants to walk a little ahead, and as soon as he disappeared, the connection was cut off, and Franklin decides that he died. Tony offers to escape from Cornelius, but Estral replies that they can't do that, because they will find them and kill them. Today, luck was on the side of Cornelius and he noticed Jude. Estelle should follow him, and he and Tony will try to find a teleporter. The couple drives Franklin into the house. To save her granddaughter, Irene has to tell where the portal is located. Cornelius goes into the barn, leaving Tony to look after them. Irene skillfully convinces Tony that they are not bad people, but Cornelius has already returned to the house. He calls Estelle to tell Tony that his friends have been caught, and if he wants to save them, he will have to get out of the woods. During the showdown, Franklin breaks the fetter and attacks Cornelius. Estelle goes over to Jude's side, and together they knock out Cornelius. A little later, Jude goes down to the basement. He managed to decipher the message. It had his father's address in it. Dennis will go with him. The teleporter took them to Bangkok. At this time, Estelle was attacked, and their car flew into a ditch. Hannah was among the attackers. They know that they are the keepers and who is sitting in the car. A long time ago, Cornelius hunted her too, since Hannah is a renegade. Franklin can't leave Byron and decides to find him. Walking in the direction Byron went, he stumbles upon the body of the man Jude killed in his memories. When suddenly, the oxygen indicator begins to drop rapidly. There was a leak in the cylinder. When he thought he was dead, Irene takes off her helmet. We're alive. And they climb the hill together, seeing many settlements, but whose lives there remains a mystery. Write in the comments if you want to see the sequel. We also look forward to your like. For now.